The following is a production of Sharkflight Media. Sharkflight Media. Sharkflight Media. Sharkflight Media.
From mechs to mages or agents to Argonauts, this is the world of Chris Kennedy Publishing. This is the CKP Future Books Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the August edition of Future Books. We are proud to have our editor and publisher, Chris Kennedy, with us again this month. And the month of August is going to be a great month for you readers. We have 5 releases for you this month. 4 brand new books, and then a series of books being sold together so that you can maximize your money. So I am super excited to dig in and talk about the 5 books or the 5 series that we have releases in this month. And Chris, we are so happy to have you. Thank you for coming today.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. It's great to be here.
So since last month, we did not have the number of books that we ordinarily publish in a month. Man, you made up for it this month, didn't you?
We got some good ones, and that's a fact. I'm looking forward to talking about them. There's a number of them that are just great books that I personally have been waiting for, several of them for a while.
Yeah, there's one in particular that I've waited several years for, so I can't wait till we get toward the end of the month and that one is released. But before we go to that, let's go ahead and talk about the first of the month. On August 1st, as a matter of fact, the first book for the month is released, and it's from one of our favorite authors, William Frisbee, who writes in the Last Marines universe, and we're getting the 12th book in that series, Echoes of the Fallen. So tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. When and I like to look at this series as what trouble has Stathis gotten himself into this time? I forget. I've already read the next one after this, so I'm going back to try and I don't want to spoil anything. But Stathis is going out to try and find allies as well as a cure, for the gunny now president, and there is lots and lots of stuff going on, and there are various other evil things coming through the portals, and it is everything that you expect from a Last Marines book. There is fighting throughout, tension throughout, and humor as well. So it's everything. If you like the Last Marines, you're going to love this one. It is right there with all the others, and I love reading them. I think that this is just a great series.
So what you're telling us is this is another William Frisbee book with the Last Marines. We're going to have tons of action, a lot of humor, and it's going to be wide open from page 1 to the very last page.
Yep, pretty much. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, that's a great way to start the month. And then the next week on August 8th, Kevin Steverson is releasing his next book, Salvage Defense, and this is a book in the Coalition universe, in Salvage Title Universe, but the Coalition series, I meant to say. And tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely, and we've been waiting on this one for a long time. I actually, at one point, I think this was going to be out last October. But then he had some health issues, and it took him a while to get going again. The first 2 books came out from Jason Cordova and Nick Steverson, along with Kevin as a ghostwriter for a little bit of them. And it was originally going to be that they were going to come out boom, boom, boom. But once we started releasing them, he wasn't able to get Salvage Defense finished. So here it is now, a little bit later, but none the worse for it. This is everything that we've come to know and love about Kevin Steverson writing in the Salvage Title Universe. The humor and everything that made Salvage Title popular in the first place. He is back with this. He wrote it and then had to go back and go through all of it because he had COVID fog for a lot of it when he was writing it the first time. But he did a great job, refocusing it and getting it ready for prime time, and it really is. So if you haven't been keeping up with the invasion, that's actually what the series is. It's not the Coalition. The Coalition was the series before that, which was building up all of the allies. Now the bad guys are here and they need to bring in the Coalition. Unfortunately, the bad guys are more than what the allies are able to put together in many cases. They are tough. They are smart. They learn. And that is bad news for everybody that's fighting him, of which Harmon and all of his buddies are one, and they're going to have to save not only the salvage system, but the galaxy as a whole.
Well, that sounds super exciting, and I'm certainly looking forward to that. Kevin is a great writer, and for him to get better, get well, and get back on the horse and start writing again is good for everybody.
Absolutely, and I've been, like I said, I've been waiting for this one, not just to publish it, but because I really wanted to read it. If you've been keeping up, like I said, with the series, it's been a long time coming to get this. Normally we, once we start a series, the readers have come to expect, you get book. This one's kind of gone a little bit slower because, of different health issues, but it's a longer pause than we've had in many cases. So it's great to finally get it and be able to give it a read and, see what's going on.
Yeah. This is one of the things that makes Chris Kennedy Publishing different than other publishing companies and other books that you are able to buy. I've actually spoken to several of our authors about this, and as a rule, we have a policy of, we know we wouldn't have even asked you to write a book if we didn't think you could write a book, but we encourage our authors to go ahead and if it's going to be a trilogy, go ahead and write all 3 books, have them ready, at least have 2 of them done, and be well into the 3rd, and then we'll start publishing them so you don't have to wait a year between every story. And I think, that's a really significant change in the way books are coming out, and it's something that CKP has started that I think other publishing companies it would help them to follow.
It would behoove them.
It would behoove them to follow in the footsteps of, because, I've watched several of our authors be able to get a lot of traction and gain people reading their books just because they know that they're not going to have to wait a year to get the next book in the series. And our next author has actually benefited from this. For those of you who are fans of the Britannia series, of which we're into the Heroes of Britannia right now, Fred Hughes has a new series coming out, and the first book of that's going to be Reluctant Emissary, and that's going to be out on August 15th. And I know nothing about this series, so tell us a little bit about it.
Certainly. This is a lit RPG. If you're familiar with lit RPG, it's kind of like a game where people move up in level and they have stats and things like that. Fred has read a number of those, and he found goods and bads, and sometimes it can be distracting with all the numbers and trying to do all that. Yet, if you really think about it, as somebody gets experience, they do kind of learn things and get better at things. And, whether you want to give them points toward it or you just, you understand that they're better at it. So he has it where you can follow the points, or you can just ignore them entirely and read the story. So no matter which way you are on that, you're going to be satisfied with this. And it is a young lady starting out her career in the Marines in space. And she starts out way behind the eight ball. She is, well, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to say that she is behind the eight ball, and she's going to have to figure out an awful lot of things in order to save both herself and Earth. So it's a great new series, and I would encourage everyone to pick it up and give it a look.
I will second that thought and encourage everybody to start it. And we certainly love having new series because several of our series have been going on for years, and new series are a great way to jump into CKP Publishing.
Absolutely.
And then, speaking of which, we're going to, on August 22nd, be releasing the Guardian Covenant box set. There's been a couple of authors that have worked in this series, both our publisher, Chris, and Kevin Ikenberry. It's a kaiju series, for those who know what that means. Big monsters. Think Godzilla. And think Pacific Rim.
Big monsters and even bigger mechs.
Yep, and we're going to offer this as a box set. There's how many books in this series now?
There's 4 books in it.
So you're going to get 4 books for a very, very good price. And if you're going on vacation or you're going on a road trip and going to have some time to read, this is a great way to maximize your dollars.
Absolutely. And for those people that haven't picked up the series yet, this is a great way to get into it. We mentioned Kevin Steverson already this month. He is going to have a book in the series, which I'm really looking forward to. I believe that part of it is actually set in Coin Jock, North Carolina, which is where I am. There was a voice from Coin Jock in the last Guardian Covenant book, which I didn't know about until I read it. So that was a lot of fun. So he's got a book in it that'll be coming out before too long. I think he's already about halfway done with it. Kevin Ikenberry's going to have another book. I'm going to have another book. So, there's more coming. This is a chance to get caught up with what's gone on so far. And by the time you do, hopefully we'll have the next one out and be rolling again.
Yeah, so if you're a fan of Pacific Rim, and since we don't have any more movies coming out, this would be a great series for you to jump in on, and you can get 4 books at one time for a really competitive price.
And I can even tell you what that'll be. That'll be $9.99 for 4 books. So
you can't even buy coffee at Starbucks for that.
No, and now you get 4 full stories.
Yep. And then we're going to wind up the month of August on August 29th with the book that I've been waiting for. John Osborne, one of CKP's longtime authors. He has written in our fantasy and our science fiction. His fantasy series is amazing. And but he has a 4 horseman mercenary group called Bjorn's Berserkers. And every story that has been written with the Berserkers has been absolutely fantastic. And we're going to get Bifrost Down is the name of the new book. And this is going to be the second book in the 4 Horsemen Universe Exodus series.
Absolutely. And it's going to bring us up to date with Bjorn. He's kind of been out of the spotlight for a bit. It also takes into account the assault on Katash, home of the Depik. When that was going on, he was there, and you didn't hear about him being there much. This is going to bring everything up to date with him, and it is a good one full of action.
Well, every book with the Berserkers in it has had lots of action, and Bjorn is one of my favorite characters in the 4 Horsemen universe, and because John has focused recently on his fantasy writing, I have really missed him doing the Four Horsemen Universe books. So I'm super excited about this. And so I'm telling you, hurry up and release this. I don't know if I can wait to August 29th.
So like we were talking about earlier, where, you have the series and once it starts rolling, it starts rolling. Well, that's what we got going on, because the last book in July is the first book of Exodus, Shadows of the Past. So, 1 month later, here comes Bifrost Down, which is book number 2. Then about 5 weeks after that, we're going to get Cartwright's Cavaliers Unto Darkness. That's from Mark Wandry. So Shades of the Past was done by myself and Marisa Wolf. And if you read it, you'll have seen 3 of the four horsemen. Well, Cartwright's Cavaliers was mentioned, but they were mentioned doing something else. And Nigel didn't really know what was going on, and neither did, anybody else. But now you're going to find out. So, like we talked about, once the series gets rolling, it's going to be rolling. You got Shades of the Past here in July. You got that Bifrost Down in August. 5 weeks later, you got Mark Wandry doing Cartwright's Cavaliers Unto Darkness. 5 weeks after that, you've got The Oogshaw Cometh by Mark Stallings. Then Heads Will Roll, Nick Steverson. Another one of the companion novels from Casey Azell and David Schdoin. And then Assault on the Capitol, which is going to be Wandry Kennedy. Then a Steverson Ikenberry, and then a Wandry Kennedy again to finish it up. So it's rolling, and jump on board.
Man, now you've got me super excited.
We already have it all planned out for where it's going, and it's going to be 5 weeks, right there to the end.
Well, I hope all of our listeners stay with us and listen to the podcast every month so that they can keep up to date with when these books are going to be released. We also wanted to remind everybody that you are not limited to reading CKP books. You can also listen to them. We have a huge library of audiobooks, and it gets bigger every month. So if you write a lot, or if you enjoy listening to books, these books translate to audiobooks really well because of all the action and the fact that the characters are so well developed. So we would encourage you to look online and purchase the audiobooks if you don't have time to read them. And they come out pretty quickly after the books are released, or sometimes when the books are released.
Yeah, we just finished up the last book in the Lunar Free State series too, so that entire series is out there in audio. Give it a listen.
And then in the international market, if your kid's taking German or many of the European languages and likes to read and wants to increase their vocabulary, certainly look online on Amazon, because many of the CKP books and series are in several languages.
Absolutely.
And I think that pretty much wraps up the month of August. Do we have anything else we need to talk about this month, Chris?
No, I think that's covered it pretty well.
All right, then we will call this a podcast. Thank you so much for showing up, and I can't wait to talk to you about September.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All righty then. Talk to you next month. Welcome, everyone, to the second half of the podcast. This month, we are proud to have Kevin Steverson with us. He is the author of and the creator of the Salvage Title Universe, which has become one of the most popular series at Chris Kennedy Publishing. Many authors have written in the universe, but this is the product of Kevin's fertile mind, and I want to thank him for taking time out of his day-to-day to be with us. Welcome, Kevin, to the podcast.
Hey, thanks. Great to be here. It's been a while. Good to talk to you again.
Yes, it has been a while, and I am super happy to have you here. How have things been going? I've read your newest book, and I think this is the best one yet, and most exciting Salvage Title book that I've ever read. So congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't usually rewrite. I write as I go and turn them in, but that one I did a rewrite on because I'd started it when I was in brain fog from a little bit of medicine. Once they got that straight and the mind was clear, I went back and tweaked what I had, and I'm pretty proud of what it came out as.
It is exciting. It has lots of action. It is emotional. It made my Stoneheart feel things. The characters are exceptional. This book, we're speaking of Salvage Defense, which is going to be out on August 8th. And this is a book that you ought to go ahead and pre-order. This is an amazing book.
Yeah, I was happy to write it. It's been a while since I did a full novel. So yeah, I think with stories and with songs, I write songs too, but with all of it, you have to make people feel a certain kind of way. And if you can put those words down to make them feel what you felt as you wrote it, I think that's the secret to it all. Not that it's a secret.
It's not a secret, but it is something that is a talent. It's something that you can improve, but you've got to have some of it to start with, because there's so many people who try to write, and technically, grammatically, they are spot on and everything is perfect, but the story just isn't there. If you can't write believable characters that people can buy into, and you can't write a story that captivates someone's imagination, you're not a writer. There's a lot of people who can put words down on paper, but that storytelling gene is something special.
Yeah, I think so. You just need to be able to. You got to make people fall in love with the protagonist and fall in love with hating the antagonist. And if you can do that, you have it.
And, Butcher, who writes the Dresden Files, he talks about, he wakes up every day and says to himself, how can I make Harry miserable?
Yeah.
So this book here finishes off a story that's been 3 books in the making, correct?
Right. Yeah. And of course, there'll be more in the future in this Invasion series because it's not done. But yes, my son Nick and Jason Cordova, and me just a little bit there in the first 2 books. But it was those guys started off the series of the Invasion series. So
where are we going from here? Where's the story going?
The aliens have been traveling from another galaxy into our galaxy. Everything in Salvage, everything in my universe so far has just been the Milky Way. We haven't been outside of our galaxy, even with the gate system. And, the race has been traveling for centuries to do what they do, which is destroy, plunder, and take all resources. And so, they're hitting certain areas and in the fringes of space. And unfortunately, a lot of the planets that I deal with, a lot of characters, they all live on the fringe of space, of our known space. So it's, it's coming.
So are we going to take the war to them?
Well, the best defense is an offense.
I agree 1,000%. So now that you have addressed your brain fog, do you have some other projects underway, but may not be salvage oriented? I
do. As a matter of fact, Kevin Ikenberry started the Guardians Covenants, his series there. Him and Chris have written books in it. And I have given the novel to Kevin for him to check out, tweak, and ask me to do anything different. But that's turned in, and that's the 5th in that series, and it's called Meanwhile Back on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's great. And a couple of years ago, when we were first starting out the podcast, we announced the fact that Salvage Title was not only popular just with our readers here at CKP, but that it had been optioned for a movie. Do you have any information on that you can tell the listeners?
I do. It's not optioned. It's actually in development. It was picked up by Hideout Pictures, and I had a meeting in May with them again. And the actual director has the trilogy because the script is complete. If you go on IMDb, which is the movie website, my name or Salvage Title, you'll see that there's a script writer that has credit for it. I can write the novel, but I can't write the script because I'm not in the Screenwriters Guild. But they want to tweak it and fine tune it, and the director himself has the 3 books, so it's moving along. It takes time. iRobot took about 10 years from hey, we're making a movie till it came out.
Right.
So Hollywood doesn't move fast, but that's okay.
Yeah. I had dinner with Roger Zelazny one night at one of the early Dragon Cons back before it was the massive thing that it is now. And we were having dinner together, and one of his stories had been made into a movie. And he absolutely despised the fact that it had been made into a movie. But he said, so I said, well, if you hated it so much, why did you do it? He said, I needed a hot tub.
That's fun. Yeah, that's fun. So, but yeah, the movie, when it hits, one day it'll hit, of course, maybe a lot more eyes will get on the books, and then more books will sell, and the whole, it'll be great.
Well, next to Four Horsemen, I would say Salvage Title is the Salvage Title Universe is probably the second most popular series that's sold at CKP. I'd be surprised if it's not.
Yeah, I think there's 30. Is this the 31st or 32nd book? I'd have to go in and look. It's the 31st book, unless you count Orbital Defense Corps, which has a cluster of short stories, and a lot of them are salvage short stories in it. So, but yeah, it's up over 30. So there's that, and there's some plans for some more. So we'll keep going. Try not to burn the readers out and make it boring.
Well, they're great books. Some of the other authors that write in your sandbox have done great jobs. Particularly thinking about the hyenas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, Melissa Olthoff and my son Nick Steverson. They did a good
Melissa
job with that.
is a character herself. And when her and your son get together and write, it's like a book version of Big Trouble in Little China. You never know what's going to happen next.
When those two get together, it's like a pair of mischievous siblings that you're like, oh my God, those two. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. They're amazing. I think a lot of both of them, and Melissa has come a long way in a short time, and she deserves every bit of the credit because she's worked hard. Right.
Yeah. They both write very well. So,
Yep. So on August 8th, we're going to have Salvage Defense out, and like I said, I can't recommend this book to you enough. As I said, also it's the third book in kind of a trilogy. So what's the name of the first 2 books if somebody wants to get the complete story arc?
Yeah, it started obviously all books start with Salvage and Salvage Purgatory and then Salvage Harbinger. So,
and then we finish up with Salvage Defense.
Right.
So what does the rest of your year look like?
I have 35,000 words into that third science fiction story in the Kerr trilogy. Burnt, accepted, and the next book's released. So I'll get that done, get that to Chris here shortly, and then keep writing. So there's another. I have some words already for the next Salvage book too. So I already have that started. I'm bouncing between 2 different titles, so I don't want to announce it yet, but that'll be coming shortly too. But it'll continue on in this Invasion series. So, and I don't, in Salvage Defense, I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to.
No,
spoil it.
No, because there is a ton of exciting things that we can talk about in specific, but it would spoil the book.
I don't want to give spoilers. And if the fans out there will notice, even on my posts, social media, and those kind of things, I'm not the author that sticks up a paragraph or 2 of what I've written recently because I don't want to give away spoilers. I don't want to, and I just don't post and some people do. There's nothing wrong with that and posting things. I just don't do it.
No, even when authors do it, I would intentionally not. If I saw that it was posted, I would scroll through it real fast so I wouldn't read it because I like to read stuff as a whole and let things come to me as a surprise.
Yeah, I want the surprises. I want the twists. I want to see if I saw it coming or if I didn't see it coming. Sometimes you want that satisfaction. I knew it. And other times you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I prefer that feeling of, oh my God, he took a left turn. I never saw that coming, and then see where that leads you.
Right, and if it's good writing, you say, I never saw that coming. But yes, I did. Because there, it was, oh my gosh, I should have seen that.
Yes, those are the best books when you go back and you see that the clues were there, but you put them together or you didn't catch them as clues when they happened.
Right, exactly.
So tell us, you just mentioned about posting on social media, and that was what I was going to go to next. So for any of our listeners who want to keep up with what Kevin's doing and what's coming out next and things of that nature, where can they find more about who Kevin is and what Kevin's doing?
Well, the website is kevinsteverson.com, and, all the books there, the links are there. You can go to the, see what's happened, all the series I'm in, all the anthologies. I want to say this is the 18th novel, and I've been published over 40 short stories. All that since 2018.
And some of the best short stories ever, too. I mean, you were in Negotiation. That was a great anthology. And you were also in Bureau 42, which was an outstanding book. Right.
And then the first Peacemaker anthology, I wrote the story last. So that was, and it was a closing in the book, and it made the image for the cover, from that short story. So, and then of course on all the social media, if you just type my name in for whether it's Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, it'll all come up, just with my name. So.
And is there anything else that I haven't touched on that you'd like to talk about today?
I don't think so. No, nothing yet. There's some stuff in the works. There's I've got the nod from another publisher, and it's a type of novel that Chris doesn't publish himself. It's not something that CKP does, and that's something another author and I will be collaborating with, and I got the nod on that. So,
well, if you want to talk about it, don't hesitate to plug it. We want people to support our authors, whether they're whether the current thing they're working on is in CKP or not. That's the way you're able to write the next book.
Yeah, we just got the nod on. So that, that'll be a January kind of thing. So I don't want to push that just yet, but it is there, and just like in the past, I've written some noir books. William Allen Webb and myself wrote some noir stuff. Chris doesn't publish those. We end up getting those published by a small press publisher. They don't do really well online. Nobody's looking for 1938 detectives in New Orleans online. But when they walk by the table at the convention and they stop and see the trench coat and the hat, they're like, whoa. And we sell out at conventions because they see the books and they're like, is this like the Maltese Falcon? Is this, people like that.
And you also wrote in one of the LibertyCon anthologies also.
I did, yeah. I put a short story in one of the books for Bain for LibertyCon, yeah.
Yeah. And I call that the best science fiction convention in the country, and the only problem is that they limit the number of people who can show up, which I guess makes it the best one.
and there's something else that people may not know. I'm in Tears of Perseus Omnibus, and that's myself, William Allen Webb, DJ Bodden, and a name you might recognize, Kevin J. Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we got we each have a novella in that omnibus, but it's called Tears of Perseus.
Tears of Perseus. Well, Kevin, we appreciate you taking time and being on the podcast, and we need to do this more than once every 3 years.
Maybe it'll come sooner with that Meanwhile Back on Earth there in the Guardians Covenant series. So.
I think there's a strong possibility we can make that happen. Thank you so much, and we'll hope to do this again soon.
All right, thanks.
You've been listening to the CKP Future Books podcast with host Randall Willis. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider leaving it a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you subscribe. Show likes and channel subscriptions are also much appreciated on the CKP YouTube channel. Finally, if you'd like to know more about this author or others on the CKP roster, visit chriskennedypublishing.com. Thanks for listening to the CKP Future Books podcast. We'll see you next time.